Hello and welcome to A Day with the Cart Driver. Before we go and run Storm Area 51...
We're not storming Area 51. If you think we are, then I'm leaving this podcast and you can record the rest of this podcast by yourself.
I'm Scamp.
I'm Day. Do not go to Area 51. God.
I see the clearly...
Also, problem. You know what? Who the hell goes to New Mexico in fucking July?
I think they're planning in September, actually.
As if New Mexico's any better in fucking September.
I'm sure your arm is flaying behind you. But anyway, this is the fall 2014 season we're returning back to in our 40 seasons and 40 weeks.
Odyssey through the years.
Yes. Through the past decade. With this, we'll be halfway through, actually.
Didn't we disagree about this previously?
No, because we started in 2010, and then 4 years, because it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a bit confusing, but it ends on 9.
Yeah, but I swear we had a dispute about this previously, and you were wrong that time.
Okay, I was probably... Okay. But I'm right
this yeah, because you tried to say that we were at the halfway point in the fall 2013 podcast.
Yes. With this, we'll be finished halfway through. But let's get through this podcast first, because this season is long. And one of the shows that... In fact, we're just, not sure if it's the biggest. No, it's not the biggest. But it is our favourite.
I know.
What, something you prefer than Shirobako?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've spaced out for a moment. I thought you meant the season as a whole, and I was going to be like, wait,
what? No, this is not my favorite season.
I mean, it's pretty easy for this to be the number one for us this season, Shirobako.
Yes. Which
is getting a movie next year.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I did know that. So Shirobako is...
Japanese for white box.
It starts off with a bunch of teenage girls in a club, anime making club, and they make their own little crappy anime, and which is impressive enough for high school kids. And they're like, we're going to grow up, we all get some donuts, they all hold them up as like, we're going to make our own anime, we're going to grow anime studios, and we're going to become animators or voice actresses or so on. We're going to make our own anime together. Yay!
Yay!
And then it cuts to her... midnight, sitting in her car with the most dead look on her face.
Before she initial D's it up.
Yeah, she's got some storyboards in her car. She's a runner.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the official term they give him? Assistant? No.
She's a desk.
A desk, yeah. She's a runner.
She works production desk.
Yeah, she tells people what to do. She tells people what the people told them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an anime about making anime. By the guy who made previously Girls and Panzer and a lot of really bad horror.
Oh.
Yes. I keep forgetting, I've forgotten his name. But he's this is definitely his... Well, no, Girls and Panzer is bigger in Japan, maybe not the West.
Is it Mizushima?
No, not Seiji Mizushima.
The other one.
The other Mizushima. Yes. This show's great.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid darn show.
Yeah.
I think it manages to capture both the fact that working in the industry isn't actually all that glamorous and can frequently be kind of horrible without ever losing its love of the medium. I guess that's how I would put it.
Yes, love of the medium. It's also incredibly... It can be both emotional but also like hilarious. Scenes including just like all the references to the... cursed 4th episode of Jiggly Heaven.
Yeah, there's a few there's a few within the shows that get referenced. Like There's a rip-off version of Ideon. I forgot the name of it.
Oh, yes.
I think it's like Idipon. It's Idipon.
Yeah.
And then they're making a show that... So they're making 2 shows within the show.
Yeah. So they adapt the light novel for the second half.
Yeah.
There's lots of interesting, just like creative barriers they come up against. Things like the voice actress who lives a miserable career, who
she can't get work.
Can't get work and is working as a bartender at one point. There's the one who's like a CG animator who's making good money at a place that does like...
They do cars.
They do cars. There are basically a subcontract studio who do really good tires. They really do cars, and her specific job is doing the tires.
And she's really good at it, but it's kind of soul-killing.
But that's all she does.
I'll be honest, I was a little less sympathetic to her plight than some of the others.
Yeah. There's probably.
But it's harder to feel sorry for someone who is managing to keep their head above water. Even it's harder to feel sorry for someone who doesn't have trouble making ends meet, even if they find their job a bit soulless. When you also have people who are like not able to work in the field they're interested in at all.
The voice actress was definitely
they're down making minimum wage.
Yeah, working at a bar.
I think she's in a. Well, I think she's in a. It's not strictly a bar. It was a restaurant. It was an izakaya.
Yeah. She was appearing in ads dressed as. Oh, she was the villain in one of the ads. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then she did the voice, and they were all like, "Whoa, you could do the voice of the villain in the ad." And she's like, "Yeah. I am a voice actress." It's a good show.
I like the characters too, honestly.
All of them as well, including all the side characters.
I mean, I would certainly complain that the primary female cast tends to suffer from same face.
Yes.
And it would have been nice to have allowed a little more variation in their design.
Yeah, body types.
Especially when you consider that the male characters have much more range, but...
You've got from the very large director, who's the director basing it off himself.
Yeah.
He's very funny.
Yeah, there's one point where he has to be locked up in the cellar because he's not doing his part of the job.
He's not doing the storyboard, so they lock him up in a cage.
Yeah, so I think it's the producers all right.
Yeah. Then there's, of course, the best character in the show, a.k.a. Taro.
Oh, God.
Taro
is horrid. Taro's your shitty coworker.
Yeah, he's everyone's shitty coworker.
He's very cheery and confident, and he's very incompetent. He screws things up pretty badly at points, and everybody else around him has to pick up the pieces when he does.
And it's like, "I'll be fine, it'll be fine."
Yeah.
There's also lots of cameos by very, very senior people within the industry, which is neat if you're a bit of a junkie for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Hideaki Anno shows up.
And of course, they're not under their actual names.
No, I think even Anno.
I don't think he was.
They definitely used there's like image compilations which shows like who these characters are based off of.
Oh yeah, I mean if you're watching the show and you're like, okay, but I'm not sure who this is. Who's this supposed to be? Believe me, there are people out there who have figured it out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All in all, it's a solid show.
And actually got me at the end as well.
Yeah. When the way things come together at the end, I think in a show that had worked, that is an ending that could have very easily, in a lesser show, have induced like eye rolls. And, okay, fine, sure, that's how it works out. But because it had a lot of heart all the way through, and it didn't just dump things in your lap and expect you to gobble up because, it's about making anime and you love anime, so just watch this. So, easily the best one of the season.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't think it had a huge amount of competition. Granted, I didn't finish a lot from this season, and there are a few things that I look at, I'm like, this probably would have been quite good, but I just didn't keep watching it.
So I actually did watch quite a lot this season, looking through the list.
I am struggling to see, I think there's maybe... I think there's 2 other things I finished this season. Do you mind if I look at the list? Yeah, there's 2 things I finished this season other than Shirobako.
Okay, there's a bunch for me. I was going to say, do you think Shirobako was probably the most successful in Japan from this season? However, it was not...
Well, there's one thing that I think might... Actually, there's 2 things that I think potentially did just as well. One of them, I think you're going to point out, was really big in the West, and I'm guessing that's Your Lie in April.
Yes.
So that also, I think, did very well in Japan.
It did, yes.
I think Yuki Yuna as a hero also performed pretty darn well. Maybe not quite as well as Your Lie in April or Shirobako, but it did well enough that they made subsequent versions of it.
Yes. And I think if we're talking purely about the West, I would say 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird one, though, because it was on Netflix.
Yeah, but it did well enough. It's getting sequels. So.
Yeah. Well, it's also... I mean, isn't it sort of unfair
It's a
they're
different
very
type of
different.
show. Yeah.
Because it's it's one of those big shonen ones.
Yeah, different audience. It definitely seems like it caught on with I think it secretly did quite well on Netflix, is what I'm saying. Or unless we'll see if they pick up the sequels.
Now, I think, well, at this point, there's been several sequels, haven't there?
Oh, I've lost track, to be honest. So I guess, yeah, we'll talk about it. Seven Deadly Sins is a Shonen Jump title with a very, very colourful art style, I think.
Yeah.
Very busy.
I would describe it as a bit more cartoony than a
Yes.
lot of Shonen Jump titles.
Really, actually, just like if you know nothing else, look at a couple of pages of the manga. The art is very, very, very busy in a way that not a lot of, like, and stylistically, almost closer to like those kind of really busy, like mainland European ones, like Asterix Obelix type stuff. It's quite interesting style. I'm completely indifferent to it. It didn't take to me. I think the main character is a bit of an arse, but
it's just not something I would have had an interest in off the bat.
Consider going back to it, but I didn't.
At this point, I feel sort of unmoved by your sort of standard issue shonen tales.
I'll always give them a shot because I think there's there is a part of me that will enjoy a very good one, but
it's just
it has to be quite exceptional. I think.
I don't know. I guess because so much of my early fandom was spent consuming shows like that. At this point, it's like whatever, been there, done that.
You're also older.
Well, yes. But I mean, those things tie together, don't they?
Yeah.
Why do these things not generally appeal to older audiences? Because we've already seen them 20 times. But I think Seven Deadly Sins is one of those ones where I suspect you have a decent number of the folks who watch it who don't really watch anything else.
I would agree with that.
The fact that it's on Netflix is part of that. Yeah, I don't know if, I don't know what the licensing was like for subsequent seasons.
Yeah, that's what because I guess it's just the circles we hang out in don't watch Seven Deadly Sins as much.
Although they're all watching Fire Force right now.
True.
But that also got a Primo type adaptation.
Yeah, it's also
Ditto Demon Slayer.
To be honest though, like Seven Deadly Sins actually looked quite good. I think a lot of that is just inherently strong art from the manga.
Anyway, enough about that.
But yeah, we also mentioned Your Lie in April.
Oh, I did not like Your Lie in April. Granted, I only watched a couple episodes of it.
It is, I think it's based off a popular manga.
Very popular.
Yes, very popular. Seinen.
Yes.
Yes. About music. People playing music. It very much follows on from something like Anohana. And it's probably the most, even though it's...
I'm sitting here and actually, as you were starting to say this, I was thinking, it's sort of like, what if Key did a music story?
I think what's different is the girls aren't... what's the word? Infantilized?
I mean, but their entire existences rotate around the lead. It's not like they have any inner lives separate from the lead story.
I think you have to infantilize. I don't know much about Your Lie in April, but what I do know is they don't do that. I think it's more in line of just like it's a super tearjerker. I think is the best way to put it. Which I guess is where the comparison comes in.
Well, yeah. There's also, look, with Key also, I think inevitably someone has to die very sadly, tragically, and they have to be young and attractive.
It also helps that there's some magical realism.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
This is also one of those shows that if you get really irked by anime trying to, slap a band-aid over terrible parents being abusive towards their kids, or just family members in general being crappy to other family members, and then the show wants you to be like, oh, but they didn't mean it, they really love each other. If you don't like that, you should not watch this show.
This was a hugely popular show. Really...
Depressingly so.
People really, really like this one.
I just remember the opening episode involves, the Manic Pixie Dream Girl being introduced. She's playing an instrument in the park and all these kids have come like, oh, it's music. Mm-hmm. And the lead happens to notice. So, of course, what immediately happens is she's like, oh my god, you were trying to look at my panties, and, slaps them. Oh, yeah, it's very heartfelt. You know what, too, though? It's the fact that it's middle school students also gets on my nerves.
Oh, because they act like they've seen the world.
They act like they've got these huge, like, backstories. And yes, some of them have been through things that are a bit bad, but I'm sorry, they're like 13. 13-year-olds don't act like that.
Woe is me, I'm 13.
Wow. Maybe 13-year-olds act like that, but...
I'm going to shut this.
The world does not. Actually, the bigger... I guess 13-year-olds might see themselves as being like this, but generally the world does not behave in such a manner so as to confirm that. Anyway, it's shocky. Next.
Actually, something I didn't mention at the time as like one of the big ones in the West, but did do well, was Parasite.
Yeah.
Which was based off a 1992 manga. Ooh. Which is relatively rare. I was arguing in a previous episode that I think the success of JoJo's is what helped bring back things like Parasite.
Yeah, maybe.
It's 1992 extreme body horror. It's. I mean, you've probably heard of Parasite. It's actually really famous. Made movies of it and everything.
Well, the manga actually appeared in the US in the 90s, which I think also helped raise its profile.
Yeah, it's but it was one of the best.
It had really silly copy, but
yes, it's aliens come down and they take over people's heads, and then there's the famous clip is of some woman going like, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" And the guy's head opens up like, knife with like teeth everywhere and bites her head off. It's very body horror.
Also, didn't Yui Horie voice?
Yes. No, was it Yui Horie?
Or was it?
No, it was the one who got chased out because
Ai
Hirano. It was Ai Hirano voiced the alien.
Yeah, good role.
Yes, Miggy.
I always liked her atypical roles.
Yes. One of her few voice acting gigs alongside she voiced something in like at the end of every Nichijou episode they would have an inanimate object do the next episode preview. And one of them, I remember being Ai Hirano was voicing just like a curtain rod or something. But so like that was funny. But my favorite one was always Norio Wakamoto voiced a wooden cube. So it was Watashi wa wooden cube. Anyway, but yeah, Parasite. I'd read this manga and I really, really, really liked the manga. And then the anime came out and I kept telling myself I was enjoying it. I'm not sure I did. And I think... And I'm still not sure why, I'm being honest. I'm not sure how much of it is a fault of the adaptation or how much is it on second viewing did I realise how shit certain elements of it were. And I feel uncomfortable going back to it.
So you'll never know.
I'll never know. It's unfortunate because like I keep doing these returning to like the anime of the decade I loved, and I don't want to include Parasite because I don't remember because there's a nagging feeling in my back of my mind that I wasn't actually enjoying watching it. Sucks.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Anyway.
Well, how about we talk about something you didn't like? Okay. Like World Trigger.
God, World Trigger is like the worst. Okay, it's not the worst shonen because Toriko exists. But Toriko is bad on it's like a fundamental...
it's a show about poaching animals. I think that most people can get why that's not
World
great.
Trigger, like if you I think I remember before this got adapted, God, all my pronunciation is off today. Before it got adapted, people were saying like, yeah, the manga's okay, it's pretty bland. The anime is one of the worst animated things I've seen this decade from a TV anime. Not just some like crappy short. So like no Vampire Homes, because I know you were watching that earlier for some bloody reason.
Oh, well, we were talking about shows that were the worst show you watch from start to end.
Yes.
And I was enjoying rewatching it until you interrupted me so rudely.
Yes.
Wait, what about Dai Shogun?
One thing that makes World Trigger noticeably worse than most other things is how it seemed fairly clear for me that when they finished the episode, it didn't fit the full length of an episode. So what they did was they just inserted really awkward pauses. and it felt so obvious, and it hurt to watch. And it's shockingly awfully animated. It's genuinely like, I was flabbergasted at how poorly produced this thing was. It looked like a disaster. It has a lot of people end up watching. It's one of those ones. It's shonen, so a lot of people watch it and like, yeah, I liked that show because I've seen like nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, you're going on about it, but everybody has a first shonen.
Yeah.
Is it just that you've seen too much? But it sounds like it goes beyond that.
No, like you should watch Naruto over this. Like, watch anything over this.
Black Clover.
Yes, watch Black Clover over this.
You watch Yakitate Japan.
Yeah, watch anything.
Watch Vampire Homes.
Don't watch Vampire Homes. Watch any shonen over this.
Actually,
the other thing, Word Trigger's like 50 episodes long, and might have even got a sequel.
Watch Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah, watch Seven Deadly Sins. That thing's like, I didn't particularly dig it, but it's like, it's got a look. Anyway. What next?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose we could mention Yona of the Dawn in passing.
Oh, yes.
This is one of those shows. I liked what I watched of it, but then I just stopped watching it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you stopped.
No, you know what? I know why I stopped, because I moved to another fucking continent this season. That's why.
Oh, this is when you moved all the way over here.
Yep.
Huh.
So, okay, now I know, because I was looking over this list and I was like, God, why have I seen so few? And it's because
we got married.
I mean, yes, but
this was the season we got married.
It is. Anyway, though, there were a lot of life changes. I had to find a new place to live. I was in a new country.
I think that was the best anime this season.
I was the one who had to find a place for us to live so you can come over. I guess my point is, Yona, what I watched of it, I liked. I just didn't have the ability to keep up with it because there were too many other things going on.
Is it isekai, or is she just always...
Oh, no, it's not isekai. She's always been in the fantasy world.
Yeah, fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's about this young woman who, she's a princess of this kingdom. She's pretty spoiled, and she's a bit bratty, and she's like, oh, I get my way with everything. And she loves her dad, but her dad's not a really great judge of character. And then, everything goes to hell because there's a coup and her dad's killed. And she's like, oh my God, the hot guy that I had a crush on killed my dad. Holy shit. This all happens in the first episode.
Yeah.
And so then from there, she has to basically get over being a spoiled brat. So there's a lot of, character growth, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
It was good. I didn't have time.
There's a weird trend, a little trend around here of like red-headed shoujo badass heroines. I said there was more than... there was this...
I mean, there was red-haired Snow White, but how... I don't know if this was...
I swear there was another one. Maybe I'm wrong.
Are you just thinking the much more recent one, like, with the Bone Daddy?
No, because Bone Daddy Girl doesn't, like, kick ass. But yeah.
I mean, there's Yuki Yuna as a hero, but she has pink hair.
Yeah, so we actually mentioned that earlier. Yuki Yuna was a Madoka copycat, I guess.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a total copycat, but it definitely was inspired by. I don't like it. I watched about half of it. I thought it was pretty darn boring outside of the combat scenes. And then some of the elements that are introduced to do with the fighting that's going on, I thought was rather...
Isn't the magical girl in the show, she's in a wheelchair?
So there's one in a wheelchair. Her transformation sequences are horrible because they're sleazy as hell. Like, hers is the transformation sequence with boob jiggle.
Oh, yeah.
And it just feels really gross because...
Disabled boob jiggle.
It just feels gross. Because she's also... I mean, I forgot if they're supposed to be in high school or junior high, but they look like they're about 10. And I just found her... The way they treated her visually was distasteful, is how I would put it.
Look, just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you can't also get a bit of that, like, sexy boob jiggle action.
Okay. Didn't we get enough of that bullshit of treating wheelchair-bound female characters like sex objects in Guilty Crown?
I don't think she was, I suppose she was.
I feel like one of the things that people definitely pointed out about the show was, sequences involving her being physically, sexually harassed because there wasn't much she could do about it.
I'll take your word for it. Guilty Crown is a unique form of horrible. Anyway,
I didn't like how they treated her. I didn't like how I felt like it went into this is so serious and dark, and look what they have to give up to be magical girls, to an extent that I found distasteful. So I stopped watching it. And again, I found the non-combat sequences really, really boring. Mind-numbingly boring. And I know that there are people who love this show, but I just did not get it. I did like the magical girl designs.
Most important part.
Well, that's a pretty important piece of the whole thing.
There was no Synfro gear, but...
I mean, I wouldn't say I like those designs. It's more like I got used to them. Also, Synfro gear bears much more in common with something like My Otome. It's the spiritual successor.
You mean My Hime?
No, because they don't have those designs in My
Oh, they don't
Hime.
have mechs, I guess. They just
summon things.
I'm not sure how many anime fans nowadays even fucking know what those shows are.
God. I mean...
I know they were big at the time.
My Hime was big at the time. My Otome was less big.
Yeah.
I swear in part because they actually made a bunch of the characters adults. Anyway. My Otome is the one that's worth watching. My Hime is a waste of time.
I didn't watch My Otome because I didn't like My Hime. Anyway,
what about My Oika, the sequel to My Hime? Anyway.
Yes.
So,
we were talking about, like, someone listening now is like, oh, these idiots didn't watch any of these shows. It's like, screw you. I have got 2 shows here I actually did watch the whole way through.
Oh?
I watched the entire way through Rage of Bahama Genesis.
Oh, okay.
Which started really, really strongly. This is the one, which was originally, like, based off a card game called, like, Bahamut or something.
Oh, I thought it was a phone game.
Card phone game.
Oh, okay.
It's what's it?
Phone TCG.
Mobage. Mobage. Apparently the game's not very good, but the anime is excellent.
I'm shocked.
The anime has got a kind of Pirates of the Caribbean vibe to it, because it's this very, like, goofy hijinks adventure through fantasy lands as like what larger-than-life characters run after each other, getting very angry. It's Favaro, who's this big guy with a big ginger afro, kind of a rogue, and he's followed by the straight guy. What was the name of the knight who always chased him?
I didn't watch that show. And
even
if I watched the sequel...
He's the guy with the things
hair
in his
clips.
Hair clips kid,
Those terrible hair clips.
Yes. They were great. Just the whole dynamic of them was great. The plot went off the deep end in the second half and it didn't really know what it was doing and they sort of fell apart. But I still it was one of those ones where I thought, this plot sucked, but these characters are fantastic. I would love to see them in another show. And then they made that show, and it's just that... Oh, we'll get to that.
The other show has basically the same problem.
Yes, the problem with the other show is it was twice as long, so it had more time to be sucky. Like, it actually started to get bad at the same time the original this season did.
Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. It's a few more seasons. Well, several more seasons from now.
I have a place in my heart for Rage of Bahama Genesis.
I don't think you do with its sequel. No.
There's so many good things about it.
Yes, I agree. All right, come on. What's the other thing you finished?
And the other one I saw the whole way through was Garo.
Taro.
God, yeah, that's why we made that joke, because they aired at the same time.
I made that joke.
Garo is what is it, like a medieval Super Sentai, I guess?
Yeah, I guess.
They have it had a very stylized art style, which I thought was neat. And these guys have these big, like, lion suits that they call down and fight evil demons and stuff. It's fun. It's very stylized, which I quite enjoyed.
Isn't it sort of the adventures of, like, hopeless dad?
Yes.
And his son who's like, I can't fucking believe this.
Yeah.
This is my dad.
It's very
dad is all into getting sex. Why can't he just focus on the things at hand?
It's very self-serious. It's very, like... It's not wuxia. Actually, it kind of is. I think it has TV series as well, and they're all set in medieval times as well. And they are halfway to being wuxia, I think.
I think you mean wuxia.
Wuxia, sorry. all the people. Sorry, I didn't know how to pronounce it. I didn't realize it was Chinese. Is wuxia Chinese?
Yes, it's Chinese.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was Chinese, but when you said it, it's like, oh, that's how you put it, sound X in Chinese. Yeah, which is the.
What do you think it was? Because they don't have X in Japanese like that.
That's true. I hadn't really thought about it. If you want to be the honest
Yeah,
answer,
you can't write. You have. That's why you see X written as like an X in Japanese because it doesn't exist.
Oh no, they just don't pronounce it. That's why it's called Holic or Hunter Hunter.
3 eyes.
Yeah, I call it XX.
They call it After War Gundam X.
Triple X Holic.
Or in Maidens in Your Savage Season, Esu, Double Exu.
Yes.
Anyway.
But yeah, like it's alright. Like I remember nothing about the plot, which kind of shows how invested I was in. But it was fun to look at. It's kind of like a worse Casher and Sins, I think is a good way to describe it.
Wow, that's really going to inspire people.
Casher and Sins is cool. But Casher and Sins is another one where it's like I wasn't really there for the story. It was super stylized in a way I really dug. Casher and Sins is better, but yeah, I like Garo. It was alright.
What about Terraformers? How'd you like that?
I've always kind of been into the idea of it.
It's too bad it's fucking racist.
Yeah.
Visually, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it to know whether it's more explicit than the visuals.
Yeah, and I think I like... So, Terraformers is brilliant, schlocky science fiction. And honestly, from what I read and what I saw of it, it was kind of like, if this was done well, which it wasn't, that's the problem, the adaptation was terrible. But...
famously terrible, I'd say.
Terrible. Got a second season, and it got a second season in part because it was really successful on Crunchyroll. It's actually one of those shows that is specifically brought up.
I'd like to point out, you have these people like, this thing's awful, I'm going to hate watch it. And that's like, okay, so now you're mad that this thing you actually want a good adaptation of is not getting made, whereas this thing you hate watched anyway.
I think a lot of people watch it. I think it's very thriller, schlocky science fiction. It is, in order to clean up the atmosphere on Mars, they brought over a bunch of cockroaches, and then they go show up with humans to see what's going on. Turns out all the cockroaches have hyper-evolved into basically these humanoid creatures who look an awful lot like racist black men stereotypes, which is where the racist part comes in.
Yeah, like the old caricatures.
Very old caricatures, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, in terms of, like, just hyper-evolved cockroaches are out to kill you, it's trashy as hell. It's kind of hilarious. And there's definitely something to it. I think there's a good adaptation in there that doesn't... It's got this, like, international group who all come down, are all like... And, of course, the Japanese people are the best. It maybe is slightly.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you'd go, yeah, it's not great, but I had a ton of fun watching it if they did it right, which they didn't. It's one of those things where if they then... one of those things I'm kind of disappointed it didn't turn out better. But maybe that's for the best, because then you just get these weird, that people start sharing their images on, Stormfront or whatever. Actually, no, Stormfront are the ones that hate Jews. Who hate blacks?
I think Stormfront also
Hates
is
equal opportunity racist.
It's worth pointing out that, so the Ku Klux Klan, sure, it had its original wave was against black people, but its second revival had a lot to do with Catholicism.
Oh.
In panics about Italians, Poles, and the Irish, and their Catholic ways coming in and sullying our pristine Anglo-Saxon land.
I'm now imagining a version, and I can say this because I'm Irish, I'm now imagining a version where they... So there's the scene in Terraformers is when they open, which is the one that you see references where they like walk out and they like go over a ridge and then they just see all the humanoid cockroaches standing around and looking up. And at the time, they just kind of like stand there like, whoa, what are you looking at, basically? And I'm just imagining that scene now, but with a bunch of like really white people holding glasses of beer and going, what? Top of the morning tea.
No one says that though, do they?
No, but if it was a racist caricature, they would.
Wouldn't they say, how's she cutting there?
How's she cutting there? And then they're like, oh, quick, get the paddy wagon and put them all in there. Yes, anyway.
Wow, now that her podcast is going to be censored for being racist. Oh wait, it also goes on YouTube, and there's no way anything gets censored for that on YouTube.
God, yeah. Sorry, I've now lost our track because we jumped everywhere on our little list here.
Yeah, well,
So I've talked about stuff I watched.
Okay, I watched a little bit of Magic Kaito 1412, which, I think they could have stood to have updated it a bit for airing in 2014, because I've had people say to me, like, what were you expecting from a shonen thing from the 90s? You don't have to, there is no rule saying that you have to stick with every archaic thing that appears in a work when adapting it in a more recent setting.
What's archaic about Magic?
It just, some of the stuff that was pretty standard issue stuff in shonen in the 90s that you wouldn't see as much now.
So just panty shots.
Yeah. Some of its ideas and treatment of women and girls, I think, is a little less prevalent in shonen now. I'm not saying this is, by the way, not to imply that shonen is like a feminist paradise now, because it's not. It's just some of the more throwbacky things, I think, are less common, and maybe the issues are a little bit different now. Yeah, I don't think that you need to... I think you're allowed to cut out things that feel ancient. Because it's fine. It's just... Oh, I should probably say what it is. Magic Kaito is a spin-off of Detective Conan about one of his nemesi? Magic Kaito, who is a phantom thief. So this is about him. He is a teenager. And yeah, he does the usual phantom thief stuff, dressing up in ridiculous outfits and sending a notice saying, I'm going to take this object. And yeah. Actually, that's kind of Magic Thief as a subgenre is fairly extinct, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Lupin keeps getting made.
Yeah, but other than him...
Yeah.
I mean, and arguably, Lupin's big enough that he's a genre unto himself.
Yeah, he's also a little different in that he's not pretty.
I mean, not all the Phantom Thieves were pretty.
I feel like most of them are. Most of them, there's definitely like a sexy allure. Whereas Lupin is like...
Okay, there's definitely a lot that it's not a sexy allure. I'm sorry, but Saint Tail is not being sexy. She's like 12.
It's cool sexy, whereas I don't think Lupin...
Or cute.
Actually, I suppose they do try to sell Lupin as cute. As cool. I don't know. He's got hair on his palms. He's not...
Wow.
Like part of
way to be.
Yeah. Well, no, but my point is like... Lupin spends most of the time going... Hoi, 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 hoi.
Again, I guess then ultimately what I mean...
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Lupin's basically a genre unto himself.
Yeah.
Like we used to get tons of these Phantom Thief things, like DN Angel, Saint Tail, Kamikaze Kaito Jean.
I didn't even realize DN Angel was a Phantom Thief.
It is it's like Phantom Thief paired... You know what? It's like if you decided to cross Saint Tail with... Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's a good...
He's possessed.
It's a good early 2000s edgy name for an anime, isn't it?
DN Angel?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very much of its era with the name, isn't it?
Yeah.
I could have sworn that it's getting a new adaptation, though, which I'm like, why? I feel like that was, for a lot of people, though, Baby's first.
Oh, yeah.
Slightly edgy shoujo. Actually, I'm not sure if it was even shoujo.
I thought it was a shonen.
It may have been. I don't know. It's been so long. Black Cat, there's another one that's in the Phantom Thief genre. If we want to go really far back,
Black Cat is not a Phantom Thief. He's a bounty hunter.
Oh, I must be mixing it up with something else then.
Black Cat actually it has more in common with Cowboy Bebop because it's science fiction bounty hunting. I know.
Maybe I'm mixing it up with something then. But if you want to go really far back for your Phantom Thief, Cat's Eye from the 80s. where the Phantom Thieves wear bodysuits and they use rollerblades.
Oh god, that's the one that we saw the clip of the other day.
It's a lot of fun.
That thing looked ridiculous.
It's a lot of fun. Anyway, what were we talking about? Magic Kaito 1412. It was fine.
Don't know about the other one that you saw. You saw all of this one, definitely.
Wait, which?
In Search of Lost Future.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's okay. It's a visual novel adaptation.
Okay.
In which it starts out with, there's these kids, they're going to school, they have their dorky little club, which the point of it doesn't seem very clear, but, they're friends, and...
So it's a visual novel.
There's nothing particularly wrong with any of them. It seems like a decent group of kids, and...
It's a visual novel.
Yes, and then, so one of the girls works up her nerve till she confesses to the boy she likes. And guess what? He also likes her. They like each other. Oh my god, what visual novel in the history of the world manages to do it this quickly? Well, actually there is one other. She gets hit by a bus and dies. So then...
I love...
Rumbling Hearts? I forgot the original name of it.
Oh, Kimi ga Nozumu.
Oh, Kimi ga Nozumu A-N.
I was actually going to say...
Kimi Nozu.
I was going to say...
But she's not dead. She's just in a coma.
I was going to say Zombieland Saga. That's the one where she, literally opens and gets hit by a bus straight away.
Yeah, but then she stays dead. What happens here is that then it's like...
Or Excel Saga.
Then, basically stuff resets, and... There's this rumor about a ghost in the upper hall of the school. Anyway, someone suddenly appears from nowhere, and they're like, who are you? No one knows. And she's like, I can't tell you. And it turns out it becomes clear pretty quickly she's trying to prevent the other girl from getting hit by a bus. So she's trying to act in a way to prevent that from happening. And yeah. So the rest of the show is then So... It takes the name from Franz Kafka's In Search of Lost Time, so that's kind of pretentious.
So it's Kafka-esque.
So yeah, it turns out that the girl who appeared is from the future, and she's like a robot or something, and she gets sent to the past because in the future they're trying to figure out, oh, you know what, she doesn't die. She's
a Terminator?
She's in a coma, and she's never going to wake up from it. And it's 20 years in the future, and they're still trying to figure out a way to get her to wake up. And, yeah. It's not great, but I don't watch these sorts of shows very frequently, so I was suitably entertained. The ultimate conclusion of the show is fucking weird, though. If you love your, if you...
Mom and her two hit.
Look, if you were sad that Bunny Drop didn't keep going from where the anime ended, you'll like this ending. Otherwise, you probably won't. It's not great looking. I do kind of hold it against it that it started off with actually having, two of these not particularly stellar teens confess and I love you too, and and then it's like, oh, so you thought, well, how about nice boss?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that was In Search of Lost Future. I don't think many people watched it.
So most of the stuff that we've mentioned so far have been stuff that have veneers of respectability to a certain degree.
Are you about to be totally mean about, or are you going to talk about? Are you about to slander things?
I'm about to slander a few things.
Okay, well, because I was going to say...
slander some motherfucking anime. Trinity 7. Boob City. Trinity 7 was really big in the West.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you were shocked at it. I was like, no, Trinity 7's big.
It's just I've never met anyone who's into it.
I have, actually.
I'm sorry.
It's Boob City. It's a harem. I don't know. It's a harem manga.
Maybe it's just that people hadn't seen one in a while. I don't know.
Then there was...
Amagi Brilliant Park.
Tupac and Kanye. No, it was Tupac in the show?
50 Cents in it. I don't think Tupac is.
Kanye West is in it.
What can we... Amagi Brilliant Park was by the Full Metal Panic author.
Yeah.
And it has some pretensions towards depth that really are just not borne out.
I thought it was just a ridiculous...
No, because it's okay, it involves a theme park that's on the down and out.
Yes.
So it involves like, oh, we're trying to prevent the theme park from being closed down because it turns out that a bunch of the, like, folks who work there that we think were just mascot character types or actors are real people. And if it closes, they'll, like, disappear or some shit. But it also had a lot of tits.
My vague, like,
It didn't get licensed, which...
So part of the reason why we're joking about, like, Tupac and Kanye is all the characters' names were after, like, famous rappers. I think Snoop Dogg was in it. Like, they don't look anything like their respective rappers. They're just...
Yeah, it really is just like, yeah, this girl, her name is 50 Cento.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, you know what? It probably wasn't licensed because of the names. Although I think it's been licensed since, I don't know.
They licensed JoJo's and just gave them all different names.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly weird.
Arts and crafts for craft work.
Yeah.
Oh god, Grisaya.
Oh my god.
Grisaya deserves a little bit more attention by itself, though, for being absolutely bonkers. It's like, what if my trashy, harem show decided to involve, like, hostage situations for no fucking reason?
This was one of those ones that, like, visual novel fans said were good, and, like, I remember going back and it's like, okay, so what were we missing? And then looking at, like screens and video from the visual novel going like, oh, this was shit all along. They just condensed the shit and made it like compact shit.
Grisaya was the sort of thing that some people ended up watching because it was like, wow, this thing is so bonkers and so bad, you have to see it to believe it. If I'm not mistaken, we're getting more Grisaya this year.
Yes, we are, because the visual novels are really popular.
Yeah.
For some fucking
Then
reason.
there was, what was this?
It was like everyday battles with normal people or something.
Yeah, something like, this was a Gynax
yes.
title.
No, Trigger.
Was it?
No,
I'm pretty sure this is Gynax still.
No, I think this is Trigger.
Alright, we're gonna have to look it up. Alright, fine. You were right. It was Trigger.
Right. It was Trigger.
But the title was when supernatural battles became commonplace.
And here's the thing to remember about this. This was the first Trigger show to come out after Kill la Kill. It is nothing.
It's so boring.
It's nothing like Kill la Kill. It is a boring light novel adaptation. That's what makes it weird.
See, that's why I assumed it had to be Gynax, because I was like, I think this is probably one of the last things they made.
Because it was not Amaishi directing, it's just some other people at Trigger, and it was kind of a reminder of like, oh, they're just another anime studio. It was a reminder of like, pay attention to the names, not the studio name. And that is why don't pay attention when it doesn't have Amaishi attached, or whoever that one who did Little Witch Academia is.
Really made an impression on you, huh?
That was bland as hell.
I was making a joke.
Yeah.
That you couldn't think of the name of the one who did Little Witch. Okay, look. Mermaid Bathtub. God damn it, what's the actual name of this? So it was,
Mermaid in my butt!
No! Oh, you think you're a screen.
Did I get it wrong?
Yes, you did!
What was it called?
This isn't Valkyrie Drive Mermaid, which probably was Mermaid in the Butt. No, Arenchi no Furo Jijo, or Merman in My Tub. This was a short. Are you going to be okay over there?
No, I won't interrupt you. Carry on.
Are you alright?
I'm just imagining someone with like a fucking fishtail sticking out their butt going, oh no!
I'm sure that's an image that everybody is so happy to have now. Anyway, Merman in My Tub. It was a short. It's about a guy who finds a mermaid and he's like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
I think you need to calm down.
Okay.
Are you done?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
Alright. So, Merman in My Tub. See, I knew you weren't!
No, go carry on.
How can I if you keep collapsing into giggles?
No, it's okay.
No, it's not!
Orenchi ni Furo. If you call it the Japanese name, I'll be fine.
Why?
Because
Can you just let's just pause and wait for you to compose yourself.
Okay.
Well, for about the 80th time, Merman in My Bathtub, Orenchi no Furo Jijo, which involves, it's a short, a guy finding a merman washed up and, like, passed out. And he's like, oh, no. So he brings him home and puts him in his bathtub. That's the entire premise of the show. And the rest of it's just, like, silly stuff revolving around the fact that the guy's now living in his bathtub. I would describe it as, I think some people would see it as BL adjacent, but it's not BL. So if you're looking for that, you'd be disappointed. It was mildly funny. I enjoyed it. It wasn't mean-spirited, which doesn't sound like much, but sometimes, well, there's a lot of mean-spirited shows out there, so I liked it.
Speaking of mean-spirited, do you want to jump to this one? Probably the most infamous show this season, even more so than, like, Terraformers. Cross-Ange.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about something mean-spirited?
I mean, I don't really want to. I didn't watch any of it.
Cross-Ange.
I do remain resentful, though, because, like, I was looking forward to this as, you know, bad Sunrise, but not, like, mean, horrible Sunrise.
I think it was best described as there is a genre of hentai.
Okay.
In which is based around princesses in high castles having their kingdom taken over and then sent to, like, rape camps. That's this, except, like, a PG version. Well, maybe not PG. Maybe, like, a 16 plus.
Yeah.
Yes. It's that. They even wear the same outfits. And then it does all these, like, camera shots in mechs, which involve going straight up their butt.
They're not in mechs, though. They're, like, riding weird things.
Yeah, I remember... Oh, no, I'm mixing that up with something else. And it was, like, uniquely mean and horrible to all of its cast. And exploitative and just, like, really, really aggressively horrible in a fairly unique way. Like, I don't think any other anime was this uniquely horrible to its cast you were supposed to jerk off to, I think. It's trashy on a...
I don't know, there are definitely some shows out there that not even having to dip into hentai that have been pretty gleeful about being nasty to its cast.
I think this one might be the winner, though. If we come across something more uniquely terrible than Cross-Ange, like, I'll admit I'm wrong.
Okay. Magical Girl Raising Project was pretty horrible to its cast.
I think Cross-Ange is worse.
Well, it was also longer.
Yeah.
And you didn't finish.
No, I watched more...
you didn't finish either.
I know. I watched more Magical Girl Raising Project than I did at Cross-Ange, but I kind of kept up with the discourse because...
Magical Girl Sight?
Magical Girls... Oh, I have no idea actually what happened on that beyond the opening bit. No. But yeah, so that was Cross-Ange. That was a Sunrise gig. That was Sunrise, like, we're not even trying anymore, I think is the best way to describe it.
Well, no, because it wasn't even, we're not even trying. It's, we're trying, but we're putting all of our efforts into horrible things.
Yeah.
Sunrise not trying is like Sacred Seven or Buddy Complex.
I think they were kind of trying with Sacred Seven. Yeah, you're right, though. You're right. This isn't them.
This did not... something like Cross-Ange does not happen because of a lack of effort involved.
I think they were not trying to make something good. I think is about they were trying to.
I just remember there was a huge like to-do with the fan base in Japan over. I think when the second half started airing, it was something with the OP was terrible. The second OP, and people were really, really pissed off. So. Like, the producer promised, don't worry, you know, because we'll change it so they're all explicit nudes at the end of the OP for the home release. Yeah, I don't remember it too well, but... Anyway,
let's not talk about too much crap. There was, like...
there's still some crap we could get through.
Oh, God. Twin Tails?
I didn't watch it.
And I
don't know why this is on. I think this is only on here because...
We wanted to laugh at the name.
It still makes me mad that this was not localized as... So it was released in the US as Wanna Be the Twin Tail. When I think... So it was actually called in Japan, like, Ore Twin Tail.
Yeah, Twin Tail.
So I was like, why did they not release this as Twin Tail?
Yes.
That's the only reason it's on there. This is a weird one because Tomino, we all know Tomino. We love Tomino, whether we want to or not, I think. He came back and it was like, it's the first Gundam TV series I'm going to direct since Turn A Gundam. And people were like, Turn A Gundam, that was good. Turn A Gundam is really good. And then he made Gundam Reconquista in G. I think it just baffled people. It's just so much of it's completely impenetrable, which is unfortunate because it looks good. It
does look
good. I liked its visual style. Yeah.
The reason why it is impenetrable is because Tomino lives on another planet, which speak a different language and follow like non-Euclidean rules, logic.
The world is not square.
And this is a thing
that's a famous screen cap.
Yeah, the world is...
It's the other one that's a famous screen cap from this? I'm a genius. Oh,
no! The show is... And this has been a problem in Tomino anime since, well, to be honest, even since the original Gun. Well, no,
but this is one of the worst examples. Like, I would say... This is
up there with Garzy's Wing.
Although Garzy's Wings was also just bad in a lot of other ways.
But I think...
I would probably class this... What comes to my mind is brain-powered. In terms of just not totally... Borderline completely impenetrable.
Yeah, but impenetrable specifically because the dialogue is spoken like they're skipping forward 15 sentences. It is truly true. I think Gundam Reconquista, because I can't even say it's like one of the worst written anime because it's so uniquely written that...
So actually I think one of the movies just got released. They were making movies.
It wasn't a flop. It wasn't a success.
Oh yeah, it definitely sold.
It sold okay. I think I think some of the...
It sold, I want to say, in the low 10s.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't think it
It actually sold pretty decently.
Christ, put anything... Actually, that's not true. I was going to say you put Gundam on anything, but then I remembered how Gundam Age sold.
Well, or Gundam Build Fighters really didn't sell.
Yeah. I mean, different. Yeah, we've said that before,
God. Anyway.
How much of Gundam Reconquista did you... Because I know you're...
I watched a few episodes and I was like, wow, I wish this wasn't so completely impossible to watch because I liked the visuals a lot.
Because you're more of a Gundam person than me.
Yeah, and I loved Turn A, but they're making movies of it now that theoretically will make it a little less obtuse.
Sorry.
One of them I think just came out.
Yeah. We skipped over I, Tenchi Muyo, and I know you're Tenchi Muyo.
We had absolutely no comment to make on this. Neither one of us watched it.
Oh, but you want to bitch about them killing the Tenchi Muyo franchise.
No, I want them to just let the franchise die, because every addition that they've made to it post, 2005 has been fucking awful. Actually, honestly, probably everything post-2000 should not have happened.
Oh, well.
I'd even be willing to go back so far as to say everything post-1998 should never have happened.
Ooh, can I start bitching now? Because I have some things to bitch about. Oh, I know
you have something to bitch about.
I have a few things to bitch about. So I'll start with
there's not that much left.
There's my smaller bitch, which was the time... So we talked about Alno Zero in the previous episode.
Yep.
But we talked about Gargantia in the previous episode as well. And these were kind of signs that Gen Urobuchi was not perfect. I believed him in my heart.
Someone clearly didn't watch Blasterator.
Yes. Again, but in all these cases, I had excuses. I could say he wasn't involved in this. The episodes he did write were good. He didn't have creative control. Expelled from Paradise was a movie he wrote. There is no there's no dodging this. He wrote this entire movie. It is hot shite. It is complete garbage. I remember I was saying for Cross Angels they did this shot which they shot up to the asshole.
Yep.
I forgot. That was actually in That was not Cross-Ange. That was actually Expelled from Paradise that did that shot. It's this horribly CG animated thing that has awful writing, just a dreadful plot. It is hopeless. It is awful. And it's like, oh, Butch again. And then Butch again didn't make anime. And you know what he did after this? Went on to direct puppet shows.
I mean, it seems like that was the right thing for him to do at this juncture.
Actually, I think he went and made a Psycho-Pass movie. Which is where we get to the next thing. Which is...
Here comes the big bitch.
Here comes the big bitch. Which is... Actually, I'm not even... comes the big bitch. Big bitch is... Because I kind of already talked about this. But Psycho-Pass 2 was no longer written by Butch Gen. Instead, they handed it off to...
Oh, here comes the excuse for why Butch Gen cannot be tainted.
I mean, Gus Gen could be tainted because he did Expel from Paradise, as we have established. But Psycho-Pass 2 was written by...
Ubukata.
I think it was
Mr. Wife Beater. Yes, it was.
The guy who has been charged, just in case, he has been charged with beating his wife.
Well, people will point out that he got off those charges, but, you gotta hand it to... It takes a lot of gall to get into trouble for spousal abuse, and then you turn around and you're like, I'm going to write a manga about how awful the prison system is in Japan.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he also wrote Marduk Scramble, which sucks, and is like pretentious bullshit that doesn't understand what the hell is going on about. Hey, guess what Psycho-Pass 2 is? Completely fucking misunderstands the plot, the themes, the story of the original Psycho-Pass and fucks it all up in the most glorious piece of shite that's shitted out of the Noitamina this decade.
He's done some other stuff that's been pretty fucking terrible too, hasn't he?
He wrote the Ghost in the Shell sequel, which I thought was okay.
So I hate to admit it, I actually liked, it's deeply flawed, but I like Le Chevalier d'Eon, which he did work on that.
He's got ideas, but he just completely and utterly misunderstood Psycho-Pass, and you're watching it and you're thinking so the original Psycho-Pass was hardly perfect. It definitely had scenes that were
oh yes, have you read the little-known Shakespearean play, King John?
Spooky boogie. But there was also just scenes which is you're really going a bit over the top here, mate.
Ew, everybody says that their favorite Charles Dickens is... Anyway.
But this is shite. This is real shite. And then the movie came out and it was written by Butch Gen and it was actually really good. So it was kind of this nice, oh, thank God Psycho-Pass is good again. We just consigned Psycho-Pass 2 to the depths of memory. Interesting that having these new movies come out, and the third season's coming out. Mm-hmm. So I don't know yet if Psycho-Pass is still good or not. You will have to keep listening.
Lucky our audience.
Lucky it comes out in December.
Alright, now we gotta go back to some of the shorts. Actually, one was an OVA.
Yeah, we're basically nearly finished now.
Hybrid Child. This is... So technically it's BL? I say technically because it involves a robot that's sort of not really heavily coded gender-wise, if you ask me. I don't really remember anything. I'm pretty sure this was the same person who made Maiden Rose, though, so it's probably not worth giving any of your time to. Because Maiden Rose ends with someone... You know what? Let's just say the final shot in Maiden Rose is someone's butt bleeding into a bed.
Does it involve corn?
No.
Okay.
I don't think there was bleeding in that.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know why. I actually don't know why we're bringing up Hybrid Child.
I certainly didn't put it on this list.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember why on earth I thought it was worth mentioning in the first place. God,
please, I want to talk about this bleeding butt set.
That didn't happen in Hybrid Child.
You were the one complaining to me about making mermaid in my butt.
I wasn't complaining. How was I complaining?
Okay.
Oh, because you're the one who was like, a fishtail out of someone's butt.
It says that's what happened in Hybrid Child. He's a hybrid between mermaid and...
No, it's not Fish in the Trap.
Okay. Fish in the butt.
There's no butt bleeding in Hybrid Child. I think it was just... Look, we're long since past the heyday of the yaoi OVA, so, I gotta... Make a note of it when it does happen and it doesn't involve rape.
The yaoi nowadays are a little more... Well, no, actually, we do...
What?
For some reason, I sat with Playboy Bitch Club with you, but we'll talk about that when it comes out.
I also watched Bonjour, Koyaji Patisserie. Patissiere.
Does anyone bleed from the butt in this?
No, it's just not good. This is a short about a girl who's at this, like, fancy school where it's, I'm learning to be a pastry chef. And it had, honestly...
Is this a shoujo or a otome?
Oh, no, I think it was a phone game adaptation.
Oh, with lots of sexy boys? Or is it like she's a young teenager? Is it closer to... what's the Patissiere Valerie? No, what's the one that you like?
Immature Patissiere.
Yeah, is it closer to Immature Patissiere or is it closer to... Oh, look at all these hot boys. Is it closer to like a Otome dating sim or is it closer to...
I mean, but you made your Patissiere, she's also surrounded by hot guys. It's just that it's not as overtly about her wanting to date them.
Yeah, like that one's more like 12-year-old girls.
I mean, it's a phone game. There's not enough plot for it to be really like, oh, this guy. But I have to mention it because it had, honestly, probably one of the worst sung OPs that I have ever encountered in my life.
Okay, I was wondering why you brought this up.
You know, watching it, I remember feeling a bit astonished at it because I'm accustomed to this idea that if one of the boys in your passel of hot boys isn't really a great vocalist, you will at least, like, auto-tune that shit out, or at least, you know, the guys who are better vocalists, you turn them up a little bit so you don't notice that one of them sucks at it. But they didn't. They just left it as is, and I was kind of shocked. Go watch it. It's terrible.
That anime again? Just so they can search
Bonjour Koyaji Patissiere. It was on Crunchyroll, I believe.
Okay.
I will even spell it out. No, I won't.
No.
You can look at, you know what, Scamp can put it in the notes when he posts this.
Yes.
And there's one last thing we do want to touch on.
Do we? Or will we just say, yeah, this aired?
Well, it's not that it aired. It's... Actually, was this a TV show or was this a movie?
It's a TV show.
This was a TV show?
Yes.
Oh.
Fate au bois.
No.
Yes?
No, it wasn't. It couldn't have been that long ago. No, I swear this is the movie.
All right.
Because that aired much more recently. All right, to fall 2014. Whoa. Here we are in fall 2014. I told you! Oh, it was... Oh, God, that's disturbing.
Yeah.
How could it be that long ago?
Fate Unlimited Blade Works.
How could it be that long ago?
The sequel to Fate Zero.
Have we talked about Fate Zero yet?
Yes.
Oh, my God, I'm getting old. Oh,
Fate Upward.
I need my fainting couch. I can't deal with this.
And since Day has fainted, I think we're just going to...
No! I have something to say about it.
Oh, okay. What do you want to say about Fate?
So the episode 0, I don't know what they were thinking, because the episode 0 follows Rin Tasaka going about an average day, and I feel like if you start with that, then it becomes much more obvious why, Shiro is kind of a shit lead.
Oh, yeah.
Because watching that, I was like, oh, hey, this is actually pretty decent. Huh. Gee, I kind of like this. And then you go right into the show, and it's like, oh God, it's this kid again. Oh shit. I thought this was going to be half decent, and oh God.
I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, because like Rin is a way more interesting character.
She's so much more interesting as a character.
Mm.
And then, and to me, the way they did it just highlighted that fact.
Mm.
But yeah, this was the primo treatment for Unlimited Blade Works. It had a movie earlier on that was from Dean.
That was like 2010 or something.
I don't know what to say.
I
didn't keep watching it because Shiro is really irritating. And the show, look, like I know as the Fate verses continue to expand, it can sometimes get easy to forget that it started out with a visual novel that had some really, really weird ideas about girls and women, but it did, so...
Yeah.
And this is going back to the well on that, so even if it avoided some of the worst material, it still had some fucking weird ideas about girls and women. So, yeah.
And
that was the fall 2014.
Busy season, apparently.
Full of shit.
Full of... I don't know, it had Shirobako, so I don't...
Yeah, but it also... Look, it did, but...
Also had Cross-Ange.
What if Shirobako in the next season they're making Cross-Ange?
I mean, for Shirobako, they put out those OVAs.
Oh, and they were pretty
They
bad.
were awful. You're like, of course they're awful. They're making terrible anime.
You know what? I did see the first one. It was okay. It wasn't what I would have sat down to watch a lengthy series of. Because the first one they make in Shirobako is about idols who are actually like
International
crime fighters. Yeah. Oh, they end up on the lam because they're framed for the murder of their producer.
Yes.
And there's one who's like, tee-hee, I'm 16. And it's pretty obvious that there's no way in hell that she's 16.
Oh, she's like in her 30s, yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny, but anyway.
And that's
it.
That was this season.
The rest is silence. No, we'll be back next week.
Oh, yeah. And now we're halfway through.
Woohoo. Yeah.
I think,
Bonjour, Patricia.
No, we're going to listen to Garo. It's a good song.